biggest word that we'll say this year is wow, because God is about to surprise us with amazing things. And one of the amazing things that we have today is the guest that we have here on Agape FM, Lundi, Landu, who was born and bred in a small village called Mgababa from Peddie and matriculated from Jama Senior Secondary School. He furthered his studies and graduated from Fort Hare University with a bachelor's degree in economics, a certificate in public management development in Municipal Finance from Stellenbosch University, and advanced program in public procurement and supply chain management from UNISA. He is currently working as a supply chain and manager at Kouga Local Municipality. Lundi is also an upcoming poet or writer and has written several poems such as COVID-19 and known as Xotoza, Ukudlwengula, which is rape, and many other poems which are not published yet. His writing has been triggered by a number of incidents that has directly and indirectly touched his life in a positive and negative way. He then decided to create a Facebook page called Shape Ukuhlala. Welcome on Agape FM, Butwam. I forgot to say istuko.
Yes.
Let's go back before we get to, because we're going to talk about this initiative that you started, the poem. You say that you're an upcoming poet. We're going to talk about that. But when did you fall in love with ubungu, your identity, and embrace it and just love it? Because even how you're dressed is representing. So when did you start being comfortable in your skin and in who you are?
Just to be short, I would say from birth, is it? Because this is the gift from God, yeah. And then you cannot really change who you are. You need to accept and find a way to move on with life, right? And at the very same time, I'm coming from a family which we are more ritual and religious, and then I've embraced that, and then those are the teachings that are coming from the family, and also the family at large. You see, we are Singamakos.
Yeah.
So you need to make it a point that you understand your own culture, your own language, and then the family that you're coming from, the village that you're coming from, because they're saying that a child is raised by a village, you see. So that's who I am, and then with the project that I've been doing. At the very same time, I'm proud about being a closer person, and I'm also proud of my language as well.
Yeah.
So I decided to take this thing and then do poetry, which was delivered 2007 through a dream. I've been doing this kind of a project, writing a number of projects. But I decided not to publish. Only time will tell. So 2020, and it was the time, okay, Lundi, just do this and then introduce yourself to the public. So I'm here doing that. Hopefully the public is going to give me a feedback as to, is it the thing that is going to relate to them or not? Some people will resonate because 2020 has been a difficult year. So I'm busy with that project.
Yeah. Do you remember your first poem that you wrote, the title, or what it was about?
Yes, I remember. It was Ukuzingisa. I wrote that poem I was in East London back then. I've stayed in East London for a number of years in Tangan village, Spunzan, Matanzima. So if you can go to my Ekalin, you will see that there are lots of writings there. So I normally plug them there. So, but I'm busy reviving my collection so that I can go and talk to the public, so that people can resonate and begin to understand. I'm trying to motivate the youth out there to make it a point that they find a way, whatever skill they have, they need to make it a point that they use that talent. So you will never know what the future holds. That's the objective.
Even earlier on, I was asking you, as I was reading here, you did your bachelor's degree in economics, and then you did something else at Stellenbosch University, and then you went to UNISA. How do you make time to say that I'm going to nurture this gift? Because sometimes we have, especially as black people, that's what I know, kids have gifts or talents that they have.
Sure, yes.
But you are told, don't pay too much attention. Go to school, go get a degree so that you can get a job and work and provide for your family. So when did you, how do you make time to say, okay, I'm doing all these things that I'm doing, but I'm going to constantly make time to make sure that I work on this craft, on this gift, or work on this dream that I have?
As a human being, you find time, right? There's a friend of mine called Uspelo. He's in East London. He used the job to say to me, hey, you chop and changing jobs. I was saying to him, look, I'm not really chopping and changing jobs. I'm getting experience. I'm meeting people because you'll never know. You learn, right? As you learn, we engage with different cultures. And then if something triggers me, I will write something about that, you see. So when I wrote to Kuzingisa, I was triggered by a situation because when I was in East London, far away from Peddie, which is I'm coming from Mgababa, so I matriculated at Jama. So I was with a different, I was on a different area, so to speak. I was staying in a different house not with my parents, biological parents. So I was staying with the Khadebes there.
Yeah.
So when I was in East London, I was a Ihlubi.
Yeah.
Because a friend of mine called Kulegani, he took me and we stayed together there by his father's house and mother's house. So I was engaging, so I was learning new things, So I had to make it a point that in the Zingis, so that at least I complete this degree that I'm here for. Maybe at the end of the day, it's going to be the key that I will use to open all the doors.
Yeah.
But at times, it has to be told that not every time and again that education will open doors for you. So you've got a craft that you need to polish. You need to make a point that you go and engage. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create a hope for someone that is sitting there. 2020 was very difficult, as indicated to you. Some people have been retrenched. Some people have lost their families, and then some people are starting their new businesses. They didn't come true, and then dreams were vanished. So I'm bringing that hope, And then this is January, as indicated earlier on, that we are going back to school. Some kids or some parents, they don't have funds to fund those projects. So we need to make it a point to do that. So I'm using this poet now as a project that is going to make it a point that it's going to get into each and every household, right? So it can rejuvenate that kind of spirit. I'm sending a positive vibe so that each and everyone that is going to come across the poem can relate, because it's not something of our own. It came from somewhere, it landed here, and then we are suffocating. But at the end of the day, we need to find a way and learn and then begin to engage with it. The president has made a very bold statement where he was saying that I think the most critical thing is it's a question of behavior. So we are not behaving accordingly. And then even those that are behaving accordingly, I might come and go somewhere else and bring back the virus home, you see. So whoever that was sitting at home is not safe. And then I've listened to many stories, read on social media. One will say that, I'm going to sue this particular company. I'm just now doing a typical example. I'm just throwing an example. You go to an ATM, you're trying to draw cash, and then you are in contact. So now the question is, whom are you going to sue? Because you went to an ATM with the hope to draw your own cash.
But then
And then that's the situation. That's a reality. So it's a question of a behavior at the end of the day. So there are a number of things that have triggered. I've written quite a number of poems. So now a situation on its own will trigger you see. And then you will write, and then you will go and polish that craft, and then you will engage with people, and then they will make it a point that they give you feedback. So to be quite short, the love that I've received so far from people that I have shared with the poem with, it's amazing. It's amazing. So I've got a friend in Cape Town. His name is Mandi Simafu. He's known by Digital Sangoma. He's a writer, he's a producer. So I've been engaging with him. I've got a friend in Niceland, Pledge, is called King Melisizo, Small Town Entertainment. He's my schoolmate from primary. I also went to Platinum Bay where I was studying some time ago, and then my parents are there. Salute to her, my grandmother. She's on that side. Salute to my mother. She's there. Her name is Nidi Landu. She has been assisting in this project. My big family there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you as well, who criticizes your work? Who do you, after you writing your work, who do you send and say, check, does it make sense? What can I change? So you've touched on quite a few number of people.
Currently, I'm using my family, I'm using my friends, I'm using people that I know that understand the language, right? So there's a friend of mine named Sipo, right? He's staying here in P in Motherwell. There's Zanon is behind the scene. So I use him as well. There's a friend of mine, he's in Tata, with a different kind of a language that's called Saupila Sanda. So I'll phone him saying, please man, this is the stuff, relate to this thing, what are you getting from this thing? I am not too harsh, I'm not using insensitive words. He'll say to me, no, just that's it, right from the heart.
Yeah.
And then if the dream has been delivered, it has been delivered, and I will put that into writing.
Yeah.
And then I will go in and engage. So I've been doing that. So on the 31st of December, I was in Port Alfred at Kanyisa's place. Uziezi, he was also funding this project as well. So that's where we were launching the project together with the boys. Chawo, Mgababa. And then when I was really engaging with them, reciting the poem, there was a guy, he was heavily touched by the poem because apparently a friend of his at work passed away because of this COVID-19. So, and then I was trying to give him a kind of comforting him at the end of the day to say that, guys, let's engage. And then this is the situation, but we need to find a way and conquer and win.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've mentioned that 2019 has been a very difficult year. I agree with you. It was difficult. And I went to check on your stuff. I came across something you posted on the 21st of April 2013.
Yes.
Which for me made sense in the situation that was happening in 2020. You said that make peace while you still can and accept things as they come and stay true to yourself and have fun and look after your family and your loved ones. That you wrote in 2013. Did it make more sense last year? Because this, it was happening. You had to look after yourself and your family. You had to make peace with the fact that COVID-19 is a reality.
Yes.
So such things, do you go back and check and like, I still agree with what I said 2013, 2012?
It's true. So sometimes that's something that is very spiritual. So you need to listen to your heart and then just say. And then sometimes you are told, okay, do this, and then you need to do that. You see. So what triggered the situation back then, I might not remember 100%, but I know exactly there was a situation so that I was dealing with. I remember 2013 with a number of family members that passed on. So we were dealing with a number of situations. There were some rape cases that were also related close to us from the family. So there were a number of issues. That year was also heavy on its own. So I was just saying that make peace with yourself and then find a way to love the people that are close to you, that are giving you support at the end of the day. Because you don't know what tomorrow holds, you see. So you'll never know. And then really you'll never know. And then this thing can strike at any given point. And then it depends how strong you are. Sometimes you can be strong, muscular, but still it will take you.
Yeah. We've seen people that act tough, but when situations happen, you're like, this person is trembling and they can't handle the situation. Let's talk about the poem. I saw on Facebook you urged the president and you asked that all families from the 31st of December till the 14th of January, that at 9 we must gather, have a family meeting, and those who write music, let them write. Those who play, let them play. Those who can translate the poem into another language, let them do so. Let's come together.
Yes.
Please tell us more about this. How can we engage with it? There are people that didn't see the post on Facebook, but can you please elaborate with us, the listeners now, and tell us what can we do to be part of this and help us understand what the poem is about? I'm not sure if you can recite the poem, if that's possible.
I will do that at a later stage, but I think what is important for me is to try and explain, because if I were to recite the poem in Xhosa, still maybe it will confuse a number of people, and then that is not an intention. But at the same time, anyone can say in whatever language, but surely there is somebody that will find a way to understand what you are trying to say and then the meaning of that. You see. But first of all, what I want to say, I just want to thank the president. He has led the country very well, you see, under these difficult situations, So you can see he's written a number of speeches and so forth, trying to engage with people. He's also a human being. He's being advised by a number of people. He doesn't take decisions from his own pocket at the end of the day. So when he was saying that, okay, we need to make it a point that he was doing some amendments in terms of the lockdowns, going back to level 3 in terms of the lockdown, and then he was talking about the curfew that is beginning from 9 o'clock. So I was trying now to align this poem to say that, okay, we know one might be bored at home, not having anything to do at that particular time. So now this is the poem that we need to use and engage and find a way to reflect. So at the end of the day, I was saying that this is the summer of 2020, if one were to read. I was not being critical. I was trying to touch, by all means, from point to point. From a government point of view, there were funds that were stolen, missing, misused, and so forth. And then there are a number of people that are involved in that particular process. So by saying so, I'm saying that, okay, if now we're told to go to curfew, let's go and abide. It's a question of behavior. Then let's find a way and take this poem and create a positive vibe. Find a way to flood this particular poem on social media. There are musicians that have indicated that, okay, this lockdown has made them to suffer. They didn't do any particular gigs and so forth. So, but the message that I'm trying to use, I've got a craft that I've got. I have not recited yet. I'm going to do that. But there is a young boy sitting there. He can find a way and recite, and then maybe tomorrow you can begin to find a way and then nurture that talent to say that this somebody is able to sing, but he didn't written, he has not written anything. You know? So we know a number of musicians who are not writers, but they can sing. Songs have been written by somebody somewhere else. So I'm kind of doing that project. I've written a number of projects, but now when I was looking at the situation, I was saying that, okay, this is the time to unleash and release and launch this particular poem so that it can talk to the public, you see. So we need to find a way. I've selected, and then I'm still engaging with few partners in the process to say that, okay, this is the partner that I'm going to identify as an NGO, as a foundation, to say to me, okay, if I'm getting any sponsors because I'm busy advancing that particular agenda. So if I'm receiving sponsors, I want to receive those sponsors so that I can redirect them to certain NGOs. For instance, I'm here at Cape FM. So it will be nice still to work with the session as well, to say that here's the poem. I'm in a project of finding a way to make it a point that I translate this poem to 11 official languages so that it can be understood by everyone. Then whoever that understands the poem will be able to narrate and then explain and then engage, because we need to have that kind of engagement, you see. So now this is the conduit that is carrying the message. So I'm delivering this poem to you and to South Africans as well. But remember now, this COVID is not only affecting South Africans. It's a worldwide, it's a global thing, this one. So it touches everyone. So once the poem, now the next move, which is the intention now, is to make it a point that I do the translation into English. There are people that have done creative writing, which I have not done. So, but when you do translation, you need to make it a point that at least you don't lose the message, the gist and the context of the poem. So we're working on that particular project. I'm still also looking for funders, you see. There is an honor here, Omazalin. He's been helpful to me managing the Facebook account and then also engaging, linking with using his networks and then engaging with John. John here is my brother. We're doing this particular project. He has not been paid. He's doing it from the heart. We're running the project from our own pocket. But with the hope that at the end of the day, we are employed somewhere. We get salaries from our own employers, right? But I'm here today to make it a point that I find a way to make a difference to a child that cannot go to school tomorrow, to somebody that has been retrenched, to a guy that was driving a taxi and then the taxis have been repossessed, and then that guy needs a job at the end of the day so that he can be carried forward at the end of the day. So that's the message that I'm trying to send across.
It's very important as well that you are trying to make us engage in meaningful conversations, because you'll find out this time on social media, yes, we're engaging, but we are engaging on the negative most of the time. We see all the wrongs. I remember when the president gave the speech the last time, people went on talking all sorts of crazy about the president and forgetting the positive side, that this man is looking after the entire nation, the well-being of everyone. So such poems, they will make us engage in positive things, helping us to have conversations. Someone might not agree with what you're saying, and it's good they say, hey, here's a hand. I don't agree. I this is what I see and this is what I think. And you'll be like, oh, have you looked? And sort of that things. And you said earlier on that you want a child to be inspired as well, so that they can also write their own thing. Is there a place where maybe if I read your poem and I'm encouraged and then I'm inspired, I write my own thing, is there a platform where I can post my work so that you can see and be like, yes, I wrote because you wrote?
Yes, there is a platform. We are using social media. We are using Shebu Gushala. But remember now, I need to make this point. I was warned by people, like they were giving me advice. Your craft can be stolen, right? So it's not for me to put somebody at risk to say that, okay, give me your craft, and then you never know, I might steal your craft. But I'm decided to take a risk, because lots of people has lost their life, lost their jobs. So with this craft that I have, that I'm in possession of, even if it will be to be stolen, but the history will absolve me, because one will come back to say to me, I remember this thing was written and launched by Lundi. Irrespective of whoever he is or she is that might take credit to get benefit from this thing, I don't have a problem. But I've got, I'm also encouraging someone that will say to me, okay, Lundi, here's the situation. We want to partner with you. You want to go to this particular area. But at the end of the day, I've got a business plan in place, which is well intact. It's sitting there, and I'm just making a point that I'm engaging with it. What I know for a fact that someone is going to be employed, right? This poem is going to make a change to somebody's life. This poem is going to make a change in each and every household where we begin to engage. Right? And then not only in South Africa, I'm talking now internationally. Right? I was joking on the other day with Zanon. I was saying to him, Zanon, if I were to have an opportunity, I'm going to ask the president to say, the president, can I challenge you, yourself, and also the former heads of state, right? Depending which language you want to use to recite the project or the poem. Make it a point that you use this poem and recite it and place it in your own foundation so that we can begin to engage positively and meaningfully, because there is something that we can relate to. In as much it talks about the failures that we have seen government has experienced, but we are not attacking government, because I'm also working for a local government. Yeah. So at any given point, you are expecting that criticism. As long as a constructive one, I will take it, because at the end of the day, I need to learn. Yeah. So there's no one that is perfect. So coming back to your point now, in terms of somebody issue or give me his craft or whatever, no, we'll engage on that one. When the time is right, I will come back to say that I'm pronouncing, because I need to get people that are going to say that, okay, how do we make it a point that we safeguard the craft of this particular individual? Yeah. Then, but at the very same time, we are looking for those individuals that are going to say, they are going to raise their hand to say that we are interested, we are doing this, but we don't know which door to knock on and so forth. I can tell you it's a very expensive one. And then I just want to say shout out to Kimzo. There's a gentleman that has done like the background, the artwork of this project. There's a gentleman that I'm working with from East London. He's B-Man, inventive designs, you know. So those are the people that I know. Sometimes it's a question of a phone call. But B-Man, this is the project that I'm working on. Can you assist me? Just give me a background. He will do that. What is the cost of this? No, this is 1.2. But because it's you, I'm going to do it for 500 rand, because I know that you are not getting any source of income from this. It's still a project. But when the time is right, it's a matter of saying that, guys, these are the people that I've worked with. And then if there are people that I want to come here and finance or fund or sponsor, I'm looking for those people. Because as indicated, this is not for me, but I'm just delivering a message as it has been told, to say that, okay, go out there and do your thing. I've been writing, so when the time is right, I'm going to launch a project or a poem. So I'm not in a rush to write a book. It might not give me that much significance, right? But the social media has the power to engage and also go to the individual that I don't have a connection with, you see. Yeah. So like today, I'm talking with you here. I'm trying to send a message to the presidents. Maybe someone out there on the social media will be in a position to say, President, a former president, here's the gentleman from Port Elizabeth. You know, I salute maybe the Premier of the Eastern Cape as well, Mr. Oscar Mabuyan, will do his part. I just want to say hi to Eunice Kekana. She's the mayor of the district as well, and also to my mayor from the municipality that I work for, Kouga Local Municipality, Mr. Hendricks. Say big heads up.
Yeah, shout out to them as well. I'm sure people are dying to hear this poem, or at least maybe a part of it. Yes. I'm also dying to hear that. But before we get to that, let's just go to a quick song, and then we'll get back. We'll know where to find the gentleman, and also get a snippet of the poem, and also where we can find, so that we can have the poem. We'll get that when we get back. Here is Respond by Travis Green. I hope that we all respond to this call and invitation that is being done by Lundi.
Sure. Yes, correct.
Yes.